I answer probably. Okay, so where are you guys planning on going? What travel plans do you have? Is that like 2 weeks away in Europe somewhere? Are you going on a 6 months adventure somewhere? What traveling plans have you got? I want to know. This is going to be super duper useful. I have been, in fact, let me find that document. I have been to, since I was 18, I'll show you the list maybe. Docs. So, I had to make a list. I'm currently applying for a in-depth visa, like a residency visa, so I can live in more than one place because I don't like staying still for too long. And I'll give you, for the part of that, I had to give a list of all the countries that I've been to since I was 18, leaving no gaps. So I've got none of your names. That's super annoying. Everybody's here is Rich Thompson because they've used the link from my email, which is a bit annoying. Anyway, okay, so the list of countries I have visited since I was 18 is USA, Cook Islands, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, UK, France, Spain, Portugal, UK, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, UK, Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Paraguay, Brazil, UK, France, UK, Brunei, Malaysia, Brunei, Australia, UK, Australia, Indonesia, Australia, Philippines, Australia, Indonesia, Singapore, Indonesia, Australia, UK, Canada, Alaska, Canada, USA, UK, Germany, UK, Canada, UK. That's where I've been since I was 18. So I've spent more than 5 years backpacking in total. So I have done lots. I spent more than half of my 20s, from turning 20 to turning 30. I spent over 5 years mostly backpacking. Well, it wasn't continuous. I did 2 years in South America continuously. I did multiple like 6 to 8 month trips, mostly in Asia. But yeah, I've done lots of bits and pieces. So if you're on YouTube, I'm just going to keep saying that there is a link, I think, to join that web class. In fact, if anyone is here commenting as Rich Thompson, what I might be able to do, a sneaky. I might be able to do this. Copy this from YouTube. So if you're here and your name, when you leave a comment to panelists and in fact, I'm not sending that to everyone. I'm sending that to everyone. So if you're here and your screen name is Rich Thompson, I won't be able to interact with you because you can all send me your names, but it's just going to be a million Rich Thompsons telling me different names. So no, May, I can see your name. You do not. Oh, it says from me, doesn't it? So if everyone, okay, so whoever said me neither, write a me neither. I can't see your name. You're a Rich Thompson. So you can click on that Zoom link and maybe try re-sign. Hello with 2 O's. You're a Rich Thompson. If you can sign out and sign in with your name, I can actually refer to you as your name. Serena, you're okay. Serena Cutty, Tom Green, you're okay. Natalia, you are okay. Rohit, you're okay. Heidi, you're all good. Sebastian, you're all good. We've had Natalia. So whoever said, give me, and don't write hi, because who wrote hi? You can give me a number, maybe write a number between 1 and 100, and then I can read your number out, and that will identify you. We're figuring things out as we go. If you're on YouTube, click the link in the description. So yeah, click the description and you can join my Zoom room, which means I can see your chat. The chat on YouTube, I can see a few of you following this already on YouTube, is just going to be, I can't handle both comments at once. I'm going to be in the Zoom room, so click the link, join the Zoom room, then I'll see your name and I'll get to see you, and you can actually interact with me. 53, I don't know who you are. You are Rich Thompson. If you can, in fact, I can probably paste that link in again. So Rich Thompson, whoever said what have I missed, you're all displaying as my name because I copied the link from my student email and everyone's coming in as me. Okay, we've not got long because the football's starting. We've got 50 minutes now. So maybe one of you can copy that link that I've just pasted, and if you see comments from someone called from Rich Thompson, then you can tell them to try and sign out and sign in again, or they can jump on YouTube, but I'm not checking comments on YouTube. Okay, so let's begin. I've got a long list of things to do here. It's kind of planned. Okay, so I would say we'll cover what takes a bit boring. Let me know. Okay, so let me know in the chat where you're going. Let me know where you're planning on going. If you've got no plan, where you've got sort of tentative plans, or you're booked something, or you haven't booked something. Give me You are still rich. That's weird. That's not to worry. Just let each time you leave a comment, maybe write your name first and then whack a colon after it so I can at least reply to you. Do I plan it all myself? Yeah, I absolutely plan it all myself. I hate going on organized trips. In the beginning, it is a little bit scary. I'm going to go through kind of a little bit like that. So definitely, well, you're going to know by the end of it, and I'm going to hopefully really convince you of a couple of things that you should massively do. First of all, the first thing I'm going to say is that taking a gap year changed my life in only good ways. If anyone's sitting on the fence, if anyone's, oh, I'm not sure, if you're not quite confident, if it's going to be a good idea or not, if you think maybe you'll be a bit nervous, like that is, you are exactly the kind of person it's massively going to help. It like radically transformed my confidence. Now I don't have problems standing on stage, speaking to hundreds of people. Like it definitely has massively transformed. I'll cover, do I do alone? I always travel alone. Now, I initially started my first trip. I went away for 7 months after my A-levels with 2 mates from school. I met them out there, met them in Australia, basically. And yeah, we spent about 2 months traveling together, and then we decided we'd be happier with other people we'd met on the way. You know, we had different scale, like we just had different priorities, and I'm going to go through that a little bit as well. But I basically would not commit to a backpacking trip with another person. Obviously, if you're going like cycle touring through Europe or going on a road trip, it's gonna be way better with it, or taking a camper van through, you know, taking a camper van through Eastern Europe. That's a trip you kind of want to do with mates. But if you want to go backpacking, solo is the way. And that doesn't mean you're on your own. That means you're not with people who you leave with. If you leave with someone, you end up in this like kind of contract where you kind of have to do everything together. You go for dinner together, you have breakfast together, you sleep in the same room as each other most of the time. It is intense, and you feel like you can't break that bond anymore. So I'd say this is probably the most important message, actually. I was going to do this at the end, but I'll probably come back and remind you of it at the end, is that you absolutely, I'm going to say, must spend some time with people, not, I'm going to call it solo. I'm going to call it solo. So that does not mean alone. Spending time alone and going off into the wilds is kind of fun, but like with people who don't know you from growing up, not anyone. That's the rule. They have to not have known you growing up, not going to school with you, not be a friend or a relative. Like you meet friends on the way and hang out with them for a bit, maybe try it for a couple of days or for a week or for a weekend. Like think of a time, okay, this is a challenge to you. Have you ever spent a week or more than 4 days, let's say, solo by that definition? So maybe a school exchange might be somewhere where you were away from your friends and your family and nobody around knew your past history. Let me just catch up on the comments. We'll do questions about places towards the end. Again, if you can put your name first, it would just be helpful. Okay, so has anyone done that? Not exactly solo. It is revolutionary. It's revolutionary. I definitely hadn't. And I hadn't really thought about it either. But there's so many social tensions and pressures and preconceived ideas about your character and personality and how you think you should behave in front of other people. Like you behave differently in front of your friends to if you do in front of your parents. Of course you do. This is like socially normal. But I would say you need to learn how to, you are now going to go to university or you're going to go get a job or you're going to go do something awesome. But now it's the time to kind of like, okay, I've got to look after myself at this point. And so spending some time solo, I'm going to come back to that. It's super duper important. Okay. I'll go through a bit general tips. Again, it depends on kind of what trip you're doing. If you're going on a camping trip, I'm going to tell you not to take a sleeping bag. Obviously, if you need to go camping and you need a tent and then thermarest and that's your trip and you want to go hiking, then wonderful. This is general advice. I would say the general advice I'm giving is for like backpacking through Asia, backpacking somewhere where you're going to be staying in hostels and stuff like that. Okay, so what do I generally take? Obviously, it's a backpack. This is my backpack. It's got, I'm coming to those things that are covered in. So this is old school. This is like, yeah, so this is, I would say, 60 liters. This is 60 and it extends to 75 or something. It's got a 15-liter extension. This top section here you can fill up if you need to. So yeah, I would say about a 60-liter. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to start plugging. This is 65%. I'd say if you will fill it. I would say smaller backpackers, I'd say 55 to 65 liters, probably good for your big bag. Depends how long you're going for. I typically travel for months. If you're going for a month or you're going for 6 months, actually, you don't really need any different packing list because you're not taking fresh clothes, obviously, when you, I don't take, like, again, totally depends on, okay, you're talking about backpacking, then I definitely don't take food with me. And then as well as having a big bag, you're going to have like a small bag. This is just like a day sack, something fairly lightweight, because you're obviously, when you're traveling between cities or between countries, you're going to need all your gear. But then when you get to a city, you're not going to walk around the city with a massive, great 65-liter backpack. So there'd be two things that you're probably going to need. You can probably get away with finding things. They don't have to be expensive. You really don't have to spend a lot of money. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, click the link, join the room so I can actually see your chat. Okay, so definite must-have, don't forget. And like first on my packing list, I'd say head torch, pretty much universally useful. Being able to do two things with your hands. You will be places that don't necessarily have street lighting, and they're small, they're compact, the batteries last forever. Like they're generally fairly waterproof these days. Like they're not expensive. It doesn't have to be a fancy one. This is a quite nice one, but I do a lot of camping, so it's kind of really handy. Yeah, I highly recommend pretty much everyone having a head torch. They're super handy to have and keep close to hand. Other things on my list, I use a Swiss Army knife. I use it for, if you're away for a long period of time, like cutting your nails, and you might just super useful utility, or Leatherman, something like that. They're not very big, they're a little bit heavy, but well worth having something like that to kind of play around with. If you're going somewhere you need specialist stuff, my general advice is buy shit when you arrive. You don't need, if you're not on the fence about taking this t-shirt or not, you can buy a t-shirt anywhere in the world, and I can guarantee it's probably going to cost you less in the country that you're in than buying one in the UK. So like, unless it's specialist, you need a certain type of shoe for the place that you're going or something like that, then buy specialist gear. If you want to buy like a nice down jacket, it's easier to get stuff here for like nice gear. Trying to find like really good quality equipment when you're in deepest, darkest like country Bolivia is difficult. So but that said, if you're somewhere where it's known for mountain climbing, there will be mountain climbing centers. So generally, if you need specialist stuff and you're going to need it, buy it before you go. Other stuff, don't take as little as you can get away with. You can buy stuff anywhere you go to supplement the things that you need. So I'm going to redo comments like that afterwards. Okay, so a mini keyring LED battery powered light, little torch, another separate to the head torch, because especially if you're going to be sleeping in dorm rooms, you're coming home, people are sleeping, you're in like a 6-bed dorm, and you don't really want to turn the lights on. Like a mini keyring with a light is definitely a £2 or something. Get one on eBay, you get it for 99p. Amazon, you'll find one. It's not expensive. They're super handy. Okay, I'll come into costs and money and all that in a minute. A padlock or a combination padlock is often handy. You're going to be, potentially using lockers or leaving your bag somewhere. Like often places have lockers. I'm not a big locker. I don't take anything I can't afford to lose. And I generally have never had issues with people nicking my stuff. I've never had my backpack nicked, never had, there's bits and pieces gone missing here and there. But like basically people are nice most of the time. But a padlock is super, super handy to have. In terms of packing, I just threw some clothes in a bag. These are like, I think they're called vacuum roll bags. You can buy them on Amazon, and they have like a seal on the top. I like to get mine so they're clear on both sides. Obviously, you can see what's in there. Packing into these means that you can, but I normally go with like t-shirt and shorts, like hot weather clothing in one. I'll go cold weather clothing in another one. I'll go like underwear, like woolly hats, and I don't know, belts, like miscellaneous stuff and underwear in one. And then I have a dirty laundry one, which obviously just takes up all the dirty. So there's usually 4 bags. So in 4 bags, I can basically empty my backpack and repack it in the space that packing individual things is nuts. Do not take a suitcase and roll up your underwear and have all these, because if you have to empty and refill your backpack all the time, probably. So I'd recommend a backpack if you're going to be doing any kind of like sort of traveling about. So you seal these, and then you can, like, I don't know if you can see this, you can basically squeeze the air out of them. And this one's knackered and old, and the seal's probably gone. But it basically stays nice and compressed. The air rolls out of them. And to be honest, I rarely actually squeeze all the air out of them these days. But their bags are really strong. They're super convenient for packing. If your pack gets thrown on the top of a tuk-tuk and it starts pissing it down in the monsoon rain, what are your clothes? Well, they're inside of sweet plastic bags. Your clothes don't get wet. So I would highly, 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 highly recommend a multi-pack of these. In fact, the medium-sized ones are probably the most useful. The big ones tend to be a bit big. The small ones tend to be a bit small. This is, I think, 40 by 60. Okay, so that's those. I'd definitely take them away with you because they're super handy, especially for backpacking. What else would I say? A mini first aid kit. Okay, so like basically in all of my different bags, I actually put these are old smoking tins. I used to work behind a bar, and these are like little tins. They just obviously keep things a bit protected. But in here, I've bought a load of basically a mini first aid tablets, basically. Also, always one in every bag, one in every kit, a little anti-diarrhea thing, because I've basically never had any issues. But if you need it, it's useful to have one. And like I have one in my day pack, I'd have one in my backpack, I'd have one well, kind of maybe in my wash bag as well would be a third place. So you want a mini stash, and you have like one or two. So I've got some paracetamol, some ibuprofen. I get like allergic reactions, so like hay fever, maybe a spare pair of daily contact lenses, like a mini, like, oh, if I need something out and about, then I have one with me. So I'll tell you some stories about some of the things that have happened. Basically, I've only really had awesome experiences, and even the really shit experiences turn out to be epic stories, and yeah, are well worth doing. So I'm just going to rifle through the rest of that. Okay, other things you are definitely going to need. In fact, this has got both my passports. So a sealable bag, again, keep it in here. I know loads of people who have had water damaged passports, and it's a right pain in the bum. So a decent quality, don't just get a cheap crappy one. A plastic, when I say decent quality, maybe like a branded Ziploc or something like that, it's actually a bit durable with a decent seal on it. For passport, any visa documents that you needed to arrange before you go. So check before you go, like you're going into the US, going into Canada, going into Australia, you need to, before you get on the plane, you need to fill in an e-visa and stuff like that. So make sure you've done all that. A copy of maybe a color photocopy of your passport, any vaccinations, like photocopies of any vaccinations you've had to have. What else would go in here? Photocopy of my insurance document. I mean, I would also have scanned copies of all of your essential documents, your insurance documents, your passport, all of that should be scanned and online. Keep it in your email inbox as like scanned folders, so that if you lose your passport, you've got like a high quality full face scan of your passport. That's useful to have if you lose your passport and you go to the embassy. Those roll top dry bags. What else is in here? Condoms. I personally, even if you're not planning on using them, give them to a mate. I've been in so many circumstances where your friend needs one and doesn't have one. It's definitely worth having. Also in here, this is a color photocopy of my counterpart driver license. Completely useless now. I don't know why it's still in there, but basically stashed in various different places throughout my stuff, US dollars. So I would probably have, I don't know how many I've got on me right now, small denomination US dollars, 1s, 5s, and 10s. You turn up in middle of Pakistan with a $50 US note, you're not going to break it. So I'd go 5s, 10s, and 1s would be awesome. And I tend to have like $20 in my day bag, $20 in my backpack, and like maybe some in your wallet as well. But I mean, like, just keep everything that you have and all your copies of those stuff dispersed. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. So I'd take a spare bank card for sure. So you have like two plastic sources of money, and do not keep them in the same place. One lives in one bag, one lives in the other bag. And if you have a third, maybe that one goes in your wallet. I'll go through questions and stuff afterwards. As I said, yeah, keep backups of everything online as well. That's definitely all essential stuff. We've gone through all of that stuff. Like you can decant if you want to take. I mean, I generally just leave without any toiletries of any sort. I don't know, maybe some toothpaste, but I don't. I can buy my. There's no point buying a shampoo to take it on the plane. If you want, I don't really. When I'm backpacking, I generally just take conditioner. Don't worry about all that kind of stuff. Also, when stashing things, like this is the back of my backpack, and you're probably going to have some sort of like system for adjusting your back. But in here, with this, just the back adjustment system, another plastic bag, and that's got some more, probably another condom and some US dollars, and that's probably about it. But as I said, stash them everywhere. Be like a squirrel. Disperse your things. Maybe put, if it's your really important bank card and you don't need it that often, you can maybe stick your decent bank card in there. Because if your bag all the time, it's possible, and it doesn't happen often at all. But let's say you get mugged, and you're just as likely to get mugged in London as you are in any other country I've been to. Barcelona's terrible for it. So imagine what happens if that bag goes missing. You've got all your cash in it, all your bank cards, all your passport. Like, it's just done, right? So just keep things as dispersed as you can, and maybe have it in your notebook. Maybe have a little mental list of what you've kept where. Because if you've just got no system, that's a recipe for losing things. Oh, I think my passport's in that bag. Oh, maybe it's in this bag. I haven't seen it for a while, but I think it's okay. And then you get to the border, no passport, problem. Okay. I'm going to take most questions in a minute. Useful or not useful? Tell me. I'm just talking at you right now. This is all lots of experience behind this. Okay, so clothing. Don't take too much. Typically, you can buy more clothing unless it's specialist. You're going to need an epic rain mac for where you're going. Then you can buy more basically anywhere, and it's going to be cheaper than where you are now. I would definitely take a long sleeve if male and female. Take a long sleeve. Obviously, depending on what the dominant religion is in the country that you're going to, you may need to cover up. A sarong. Like boys as well, 100% take a sarong. I don't usually take a travel towel. A sarong kind of doubles as that. Again, depends on the climate, but really useful as you like in a dorm room, just getting changed. And you like, if you don't want to just be naked in the room, then you can just whack a sarong on and like just change your underwear, whatever. Like really super useful. You're lying on the beach, it's super hot. You can just like throw it over your head and get some shade. It's ridiculous. Like take a sarong. Everyone. They're cheap, they're thin, they're light, they're easy to pack down. If you have one, a down jacket, something that's going to crunch down really small, but it's kind of like invisible in your backpack. But if you get like sometimes I prefer to don't have too many clothes. So like a down jacket's a really good solution for keeping warm. I know, is it Muji or Uniqlo sell one for like 50 quid, packs down really small. Yeah, in fact, I think I've got one. I think I own one. I actually have a synthetic down and a real down. But yeah, they're handy if you've got one. Again, don't feel the need to go out and spend money on that kind of stuff. Rain shell, useful. But if you're going to Asia in the wet season, like the plastic ponchos that you can get over there for like $1, serve just as well. Because when it rains super hard, but you never get cold because it's 30 degrees all the time. Planes are cold. So I basically wear all my inverted winter, sort of cold weather clothing. Again, if you're going somewhere where it's cold, a pair of long johns, a pair of like long underwear, that's going to mean that you don't have to take another pair of trousers. It will keep your warmer trousers, like your pair of jeans and long johns is actually pretty decent. You can go somewhere. I live in Canada quite a lot of the time. You can get with long johns on. It's genius. Great for hiking too. Long johns with shorts on the top. Best combo for hiking. You're like super flexible. You're right temperature. I'd say thermals, a decent set of thermals. If you get cold, then like getting nice ones if you know that's an issue for you. Like getting nicely fitting as well, because the nice ones you don't notice underneath your clothes. Like a merino wool would be really good if you can find a good deal on those. What else would I say? Shoes, like don't take too many shoes. They're just heavy. You don't really need them. Go somewhere warm and just wear flip-flops is my general advice. Ideal pair of shoes, like something fairly lightweight, like Itinerary or like, cross hikery type thing, running shoes, jogging shoes, something like that. anything that you can spend a day walking around in and be comfortable. I'd go comfort over anything else. I probably wouldn't go too wild and crazy colors. If you want to go, sometimes you get invited to shotgun weddings, or, you know, you just get last minute invitations to somewhere and it's a bit more formal than you think. So something dark and inconspicuous, as opposed to like, you can get away with a decent pair of trousers and a dark pair of shoes. No one really looks. Flip-flops or sandals. Tevas are really good for walking in. I personally never quite got on with my pair of Tevas, so, but I wear flip-flops anywhere and everywhere, and barefoot is the best way to go if you can possibly get, if you can, then barefoot's awesome. And a beanie's really handy. You know, again, lots of, again, for you, Shannon, like a decent beanie is just going to keep you warm, and it's, again, packs away, doesn't weigh anything. It gives you lots of flexibility in terms of packing and clothing. So that's that. I've done documents, I've done cash, I've done, oh yeah, with your documents, I suggest 3 photocopies, a color for your passport. Everything else can probably be black and white. 1 in your day bag, 1 in your backpack, and then leave 1 at home, because yeah, if you, and then obviously online vault as well, just in case. Super handy. Split up all your stuff: wallet, day bag, backpack. Yeah, if you go to the ATM and your bank card is charging you per transaction, you might feel the need to take out $300 of money, because it's cheaper to take out $300 than it is to take out $100 3 times. Well, if you do that, don't just go out on the piss with $300 in your wallet, because that's dumb. Go to your room, split it up, take as much money as you need for the night, and then put an extra $20 in just in case, and then go out and have a good time. Scams, what not to take. Don't take too much stuff. Leave some space in your backpack. You're going to want to buy that t-shirt. You're going to want to, you know, there's awesome things to buy when you're around, especially clothes. You may as well just add to stuff to you. It's a good souvenir. But if your backpack's full when you leave, then yeah, you're definitely, I've got a really itchy nose. Don't take anything you can't afford to lose. If you've got, I met a girl once traveling with, what are they called? What are those, Pandora bracelets, where you have like individual like charms, and they're all like silver and like £100 each for each like nugget, and there's like hundreds of them. It's like thousands of pounds worth of like this. It's like, oh, this one was when my sister was born. This one is this. That it means so much to me. It's like we're in Peru in like backpacking. It's like, what? How do you feel if someone came in, like, you lost it swimming in the ocean, or it got stolen? Oh, I'd be devastated. It's like, don't take it with you. Don't take it with you. Like, technology, at least you can replace. Phones, I was always dead set against phones. These days, that was in the days of internet cafes, where you go and check the internet for like twice a week for an hour, and then you're good. But things have changed. Maybe if you've got an older smartphone that still works, then maybe take that with you. I don't have any advice on phones. I'm still on the fence. I will take mine with me next time I go, but I will try to use it as little as I possibly can. Just because you're there to speak to people. You're not there to just look at screens. You're in a new place with exciting stuff going on all around you all of the time. Like, don't live your life in your phone. It's not good for you. Okay. Insurance. On the topic of taking, if you're going to take a phone, that's why these are useful now, because you can take decent photos on them. Disposable camera, probably not. Instead of a disposable camera, you can get tiny, like, digital cameras that will work. If you don't want to take a phone, for sure, then a little digital camera, because you will be experiencing awesome things. Then definitely yes, or a little, GoPro or something like that. So on the topic of electronics, insurance, you then generally get what you pay for. Do a little bit of work. So check the things to check: your single item limit. What if you take your new iPhone 10 that's worth £1,200, and you think, oh, well, I've got travel insurance. If it gets nicked, I'll just, I can just replace it. I mean, it's backed up on the cloud. Yeah, but if your single item limit is £100, no matter what the device is, you're going to get £100 back. So check your single item limit. Check how many valuable items. If you're a crazy mad photographer and you're taking your DSLR camera and that's worth £2,000, then double check that you might need to name specific items. If you're taking your laptop because you want to do videos and you want to set up a YouTube channel and you need your PC, your Mac or something for editing, then again, check your limit. Don't just assume that the cheapest insurance is the best, because it definitely won't be. You generally get what you pay for. I've had to make 2 travel insurance claims, both completely genuine, and they can be a bit of a pain in the bum. So keep receipts for everything you buy. If you are buying anything to go away, keep your receipts or take a photograph of the receipt, because they will ask for it. They will want proof of purchase. Otherwise, they won't give you any money back. It's insurance stuff. Done. Okay, let's just check some of the comments, because I've been... Worst thing that's happening while traveling. Serena asked me that at the end. Roll top dry bags. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, roll top dry bags are good, except they're more expensive, Shannon, and they're not clear. I like to be able to see through them, and they're also, yeah, they're more costly, and they're good. If you've got a load, take them for sure. What should you do in your gap? I'm going to save questions. In fact, I'll do 5 minutes of questions now. How are we doing for time? 6:35. I'll do 5 minutes till 6:40. I'm just going to go. The question was, what should you do in your gap if you're considering a career in medicine? And definitely try and do some experience somewhere, and maybe do that somewhere overseas. You're probably going to get way more opportunity to do some hands-on experience in a country that's going to need you more. If you just try and do it in the NHS, I'm saying it'd probably be an awesome experience. It'd be good on your CV, but yeah, just go to Africa, go help out over there somewhere. That'd be super awesome. If you are watching on YouTube, I'm taking comments from Zoom and not from YouTube. So the link is down there. Join the room and come and say hello. Okay, so what else we got? I'm just reading the comment from me. Everyone's me in the room. Would you take a coat over the summer? I wouldn't. I would take a rain jacket, and because it can rain pretty much in any country, any time of the year. You know, even in Australia, you still get crazy summer downpours. I would take a rain jacket, a shell, and a down jacket if you have one, or a decent, fairly like a fleece jumper. Again, it's lightweight, it's small, it's super easy to super easy to pack. So depends where you're going. If you know you're going to Asia and you're only going to Asia, then you need some warmth for the plane, but that's about it. But yeah, weather can be pretty unpredictable, so I would at least take something that's going to keep you a bit warm. It is on YouTube, so the recording on YouTube will be there. It should be pretty straightforward how to find it. Letting your family know you're alive is necessary. I agree. Yeah, I generally check in about once a week. I don't check in daily with people. Disposable camera, why not disposable camera? In fact, why not disposables? It's so nice to actually, Thomas, who you probably know through doing some of the social media with us. Thomas is a mad keen photographer. He's got multiple types. He's got single lens reflex. He's got twin lens reflex cameras. He's got old, not even Polaroid, but like instant photos. He's got disposable cameras. Like, it was really nice actually taking a disposable camera. So I think the photo quality is pretty crap, but the experience of using a disposable camera was awesome. Okay, so vulnerability whilst traveling. I mean, I would suggest starting somewhere where there's people around that, you know, like I wouldn't start in deepest, darkest jungle. A city somewhere where it's pretty well on the beaten track. You'll soon find out where the beaten track is. Guidebooks, like meeting travelers in hostels, is going to be that you're going to meet people who are, you know, that you like what they like. You know, if they're just there just to get pissed and not do anything fun, but you meet another group of people who are super into like outdoor adventure and rock climbing and kayaking and all this kind of stuff, and that's exactly you. And they say, I went to this epic canyon and we met all these people there and we were camping. And if you meet people that are like you and they've got awesome advice on where to go, then do that. Screw any other guidebook. That's what you want to be doing. Also, plan as little as possible, because opportunities will come up the whole time. If you are pre-booked into a massive schedule of things and you're pre-committed to hostels for months in advance, then you yeah, it's just, I've been invited to one of the Prince of Malaysia's birthday parties, completely impromptu, friend of a friend. Oh, this is happening, dum, dum, dum. It's going to be totally awesome. It's on a rooftop in Cape. Like, okay, I'm in. I was supposed to be, my vague plan was to leave the town and go at the bus and go to Taman Negara, the national park. I'll stay another couple of days. Why not? Yeah, and it happens insanely often. You get lifetime opportunities of things that you just can't refuse. Okay, so that is 5 minutes. Shannon, it depends when you email me, Shannon. I haven't probably opened my inbox for like 2 days. I've been in meetings. So, okay, we'll come to budget in a minute. Great question, Heidi. Vulnerability. So start somewhere. You will meet people to travel with all the time. So yeah, I would definitely recommend I definitely started traveling with friends from school. As I said, within 2 months, I'd kind of split up from them. So if you go with friends from school, pre-existing friends, I would definitely plan to have some time apart towards the beginning, because you will then notice that you're probably having more fun with the people that you meet, rather, even if you're bestest friends. I was great mates with the people I went away with. We just clashed a little bit. Some people wanted things organized in advance. Some people didn't want to commit to organizing in advance, because sometimes you turn up at a hostel, guidebook says it was great. It's crap. There's, it's dirty, or there's a bunch of idiots there. And if you're booked, you've got to stay. If you turn up and have a look at it, very few, unless it's like epic holiday season for whatever reason, you can basically get a room anywhere. I've had very few instances where I've turned up somewhere with no booking, and the vast majority of times, like 99 point something percent of times, I don't have a booking in advance. I just arrive. Only one time I was actually not able to find anywhere by phoning all the hostels and all the hotels I could find. But I ended up having like one of the best nights. I was in Darwin, Australia. Actually, there was a car race on, which I didn't know about. Everything was log jammed. I was thinking, I'm just going to have to go back to the airport, sleep at the airport, because I assume that will be open all the time, and just get a cab back to the airport. And I was like, actually, fuck this. I'm going to go speak to some people and just tell them situations, if they've got any ideas. And the first table I went to, 3 people roughly my age, and just like, you're not going to believe this, but like, I got nowhere to stay. I phoned everywhere. Like, I've tried couch surfing, I've tried everything, and could I give you $50 to sleep on your couch or sleep on your floor? And they were like, yeah, why not, mate? Drinks, come down, have a beer. So we finished a beer. I actually drove they'd been drinking and they had a car in town. So I actually drove them back to their house in their car. And then I just come back from like Indonesia. So I had duty free. No, I'd come back from the Philippines. I had Tanduai rum in my bag. So we cracked open a bottle of rum and then sat and had a great night. I was feeding a possum from their garden. Like, then absolutely, absolutely awesome night. And so, situations like that come from just taking the initiative and being a bit brave. And, what's the worst they're going to say? I don't know. It's like, okay, well, I'll get the cab back to the airport then. If someone's asking me where I've traveled, you'll have to watch the recording back. I went through a whole long list, plus a whole lot of stuff in Europe I did when I was a bit younger, and then Turkey and Cyprus and stuff like that. But most of my traveling has been Southeast Asia, like basically Thailand, Malaysia, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Indo, and the Philippines. Most of that pretty well, Borneo as well. And then Australia, New Zealand, and then bits of Canada, Yukon, Alaska, and then Mexico and everything down. Mexico, all of Central America, and basically all of South America, with a couple of exceptions, but not many. Okay, independence. I think I've gone on about that enough. We'll come back to it. Budget. Let's do a bit of budget. So budget, I would say, it totally depends. If you want to go to Southeast Asia on a shoestring, you can do this at less. And if you want to go travel in the United States or in Australia or in somewhere that's, all through like Western Europe, is obviously going to cost you basically a lot, because it's, transport's expensive, food's expensive. In some countries, when I first went to Laos, there were no ATMs in the whole country. This is 2004. It's a bit different now, but no ATMs in the whole country. You had to get cash out before you went, basically. I took $250 cash. I think it was it. and I came for 30 days. I had a 28-day visa, and I came out with change. It was like I was spending $1 a night on accommodation. Like you can find cheap places to travel if you want to, and I would go for a couple of months if you can. It doesn't have to be expensive, but don't try and go to Australia. For 3 months in Australia, it's going to cost you the same as 6 months in India, like for sure. So you can do things on the cheap, depends. And having some control over your spend. When I first arrived in Mexico City, two guys arrived at one was British, one was German. They were mates, and they had just saved up for their gap year. They're a bit younger. They would just post. They were your age, they were 18, and they just bought everyone drinks. It was the first time they'd ever kind of been away. They just razzed it up, 4 or 5 nights partying. They'd spent like half of their budget each, and they're planning on being away for like 2.5 months. Like, you idiots, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? So have some responsibility over your budget. I would say ballpark, if I'm roughly scheduling a trip, first thing off the top of my head, £1,000 a month all in. Flights, accommodation, transport, activities, food, drink, insurance, basically everything. The longer you go for, the cheaper it is. And I'll explain why in a minute. Your flight, for example, fly to Australia or fly to Mexico for a week or a day, and fly to Mexico for 3 months. Well, the flight is such a massive portion of that expense that the longer you go for, you can live on the beach. You could probably still live on £5 a day on the beach somewhere in Mexico. You just the accommodation and on the food itself. And that's it. No activities, but you could do that. Go surfing every day. You'd probably go on a really cheap surf trip. Okay. Sort of developed countries in inverted commas, so Australia, America, Canada, France, Germany, Switzerland, like those countries are probably going to be close to like £50 a day if you're traveling. Again, you could go camping and spend sod all, buy bread and cheese and a bottle of wine, happy days, But if you want to go and do some tourist attractions, go to some museums or do some tours or do this and that and the other, then 50 quid a day is, again, very ballpark, massive variability in that. Asia, Southeast Asia, India, Africa, and South America, generally a 30 quid a day is probably going to be enough. South America is amazing. I was going to say the best. And for me, actually, it is the best of all the places I've been. I had the most soft spot for South America. It's got everything: mountains, beaches, jungle, people, culture, food, like weather, like scuba diving. But South America's got one language, so you learn Spanish and then you can speak to everyone. And then solo falo un pouquinho de português. Yeah, Portuguese is a bit weird, but yeah, there's always a language barrier, but you can figure things out. People are so easy to communicate with. When you need to, you can communicate for sure. Okay, how are we doing? Oh my God, there's not long to go. Okay, safety, and I'm just going to rattle through some. I'm assuming people want to go and watch the football, but maybe I'll do it. I'll go over a few things, and then I'll take questions for sure. Okay, so safety, motorbikes, super fun. Scooters, but dangerous. Be sensible with them. They're very easy to get carried away on. They're generally not very well maintained. They generally don't have speedos that work or fuel gauges that work. I've had blowouts on back tires and nearly fallen under trucks on the motorway wearing a t-shirt and shorts. Wear a helmet. Definitely wear a helmet, just because it's just so many people die, tourists on motorbikes. So be really careful, but they are really fun at the same time. I'm not going to say don't do it. Alcohol, especially with motorbikes. I don't ride a motorbike drunk. I do ride motorbikes, but I don't ride them drunk, and I always wear a helmet. I try to wear shoes as well. If I'm going anywhere of any distance, flip-flops is not a good combo unless you want to lose some toes. Booze is probably the most dangerous thing you're going to come across when you're away. Like, if you're going to get paralytic, then be around friends or people who know you and know where you're staying and are there to look after you. Being that person, like you'll go, you'll get super drunk and you'll have probably a great time most of the time, but just be aware that you are there effectively on your own. You should be responsible for yourself the whole time when you're away. And then, yeah, just be around people and have some idea of alcohol is getting wasted is just a recipe to get robbed. Like, you're just clearly incompetent, and you just booze. You're gonna go do it. Go do it, but be around people who can look after you, and don't be like somewhere crazy dangerous when you're doing it. Drugs. Basically, I'm not going to say don't do drugs. Again, you're going to go do drugs. I'm sure lots of you will, and you'll probably have a great time doing it. But drugs, if you can avoid buying them yourself, it's a little bit manipulative. But I wouldn't be putting my hands up. Yeah, I'll go buy all that weed or all that cocaine. It's not like that's one of the riskier parts of the whole exchange. I have known towns in many places where the police and the drug dealers are basically in cahoots. So you buy the drugs from the drug dealer. He then goes to the policeman and tells you which room you're staying in. Policeman comes and knocks on your door, finds you with said drugs, charges you a big fat fine, and you are over a barrel at that point. Like, how much do they want? Because you don't want to go to prison in Laos. You then pay them $300 or whatever that's going to cost you, and he confiscates the drugs and gives them back to the drug dealer so he can do it again. So the drug dealer just gets paid forever for drugs that he only has to buy drugs once and just sell it to tourists over and over again. Policeman gets big fat bribe over and over again. Tourists get scared. So buying, don't, if you can avoid it. If you're going to, then be careful. If you were somewhere that doing something you're not supposed to be doing it like at the end of a dock where you've got ocean around you and there's like a 50-meter dock. Anyone who's going to come and walk up to you, you are going to be able to see them coming. And that's a sensible place to do naughty things. You might be able to throw things into the ocean, or if you're in a city, standing over a drain. But don't just walk around the streets smoking weed, because you're probably going to get busted, and in some places that's not fun. Again, if you happen to have drugs on you or about your, generally not about your person, if you do end up having some in your room, for example, I would not want that being in my backpack. That can go in in a bottle, stick it somewhere, in a crisp packet somewhere, and behind the locker, whatever, not in your bag with your passport in it, because they can associate that to you, and that's not clever. Again, so just be sensible. Don't, if you're going to not do stuff like that, just be responsible. And in some countries, know what country you're in. For example, smoking weed in southern Thailand on the islands, no base. I've seen people buy weed from policemen. You cross the border, you get on the boat for half an hour, you then end up in Malaysia, death penalty. Just be aware, don't be ignorant of stuff like that, because it can have, people do get arrested and do end up in prison. And so just have a brain about you. Yeah, and I've seen people in Colombia crashing up cocaine with their driver's license. Don't do that, because sometimes they, going through international ports, they will sometimes scan. They can tell if you've got cocaine residue on your bank cards or on your driver's license or ID. So use your club card, whatever. Don't travel with it. Don't cross borders. If you have got anything you shouldn't have on you, don't cross borders. Don't travel long distances. Take the least amount. If you're going out for the day and you just bought a load of weed, don't take all of it with you. Take the least amount you could possibly use, because again, you don't want to get caught with a load of weed. Way better to be caught with less weed than more weed. And don't keep it in your stuff. Okay, how are we doing? Again, go do some solo traveling. It changed my life. Meet your friends when you get out there. Okay, and no matter who you're with, if you are be responsible. You are responsible for your own self when you're out there. Don't rely on your friends. When you're leaving that hostel for the first time, think, where am I? What are my landmarks? Where, what's north? Maybe what's south? What's this going to look like in the dark? First time I went to my first hostel in Mexico, went on the lash with a load of people, came back, and it was daylight. All the shutters were open, streets, doors everywhere. And then I got a cab back on my own at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's I don't know. Everything's just shutters. I hadn't even thought about what it was going to look like in the dark. And like, I couldn't, like, I cabbed did like 6 circles around the block. And it's like, this is costing me money. I paid money. I got out the taxi. Then I'm in the middle of Mexico City on my own, completely wasted. Didn't know where I was going, like walking around. There's like sketchy people about. It's like, I don't like this. I should have written down the address. Okay, so just be aware, like know where you're going basically all the time, even if your mate's going, like both of you know, because if you get separated, you want, what bus stop do you need to get home from? You know, don't rely on a tour guide in terms of being your mate. Be responsible for where you're going the whole time. Okay. I might, oh no, my sister's coming tonight. I'm about to go to Colombia or to Mexico. I'm about to get on a plane in the next 5 to 6 days. I haven't decided where I'm going to go yet. I haven't bought my ticket yet. Let me just show you some ticket buying stuff then super quickly. Let me share my screen over here. That's YouTube. Okay, so let's go. Skyscanner. What's super handy about Skyscanner, you may have seen this in the past. You might know this, but you can do from London to, you can do everywhere. You can maybe just do, I like one-way flights because I can then be flexible. I hate committing to anything, but you can do multi-cities, but like you can do anywhere given a certain date. And then it will just, like, if you were looking for inspiration, it's like super good. And like often you can find something that's close, like if you're going to Thailand and you maybe there's a super cheap flight to Singapore. And then it's like, okay, well, I can Air Asia in Asia, you can get anywhere for cheaps. Air Asia is ridiculously cheap. Okay, oh, there's going to be so many more questions. Okay, so that's that. Also pretty good is Kayak. Is it .com? I think this is often pretty decent last minute deals. Kayak, I think it's Buzz, but Kayak is similar to Skyscanner. Can't remember, but you'll figure it out. And the other one is Holiday Pirates. The flights on Holiday Pirates, sometimes there's some crazy deals on there as well. Like Dublin, where we got Dublin to Philadelphia. Melbourne for £512 return. It's pretty good. But yeah, New York for $267 return. Like then maybe if you're not going to New York, maybe you're going to somewhere else, but maybe you can find a connecting flight internally for cheaps. Okay, done that. Budget, kind of done that. Saving money, travel slowly. If you just pinging city to city to city to city, yeah, you're going to go to the Arc de Triomphe and the Louvre. You're going to do all the big attractions in city one, and you're going to a new city and you're going to do all the big attractions in that city, and you're just going to want to spend money. Like if you go and you don't, if you can, you know, what do you miss when you do those fast trips? You basically, you miss those beach days. You know, hang out on the beach costs nothing. You know, eat some delicious food, go surfing, go snorkeling, do whatever. Like basically, you know, if your accommodation and your food's cheap, you can be there for a month and it costs you like £100. Like you could live somewhere for a month quite easily for £100. So like go slowly. You're going to have just as much fun. You're going to meet just as many awesome people. It shouldn't just be a tick list of where you're just trying to go. The food, the weather, and the people you're with will determine how good a time you have. What you see, yes, that's obviously nice to see nice things, but like go to some beautiful places around the world. Go hang out with people that you just like you, and make some awesome friends. Okay. Choose your countries. If you've not got much budget, go somewhere like Southeast Asia. Really good entry level, kind of like really easy, really safe. I much prefer the traveling culture in South America. It's less guest housing, more hostels. It's more social, a little bit more edgy. But like as I said, I haven't had any nasty experiences basically anywhere. Only once or twice. And I've done a lot of traveling. You can go volunteering, go woofing. Couch surfing is also awesome. Like there's some really good ways you can make this cheap. Go camping somewhere. I generally, okay, great question right here. I'm going to just basically, I think I've done all that. Scams and sketchy stories. And that's basically it. So let's take some questions. Yeah, padlock in hostels is really good. Okay, so where do I buy my tickets? I just generally buy my flights and my insurance, and maybe book the first couple of nights accommodation. And then I love to like have a, I always have a vague plan. I've got like a default plan. Oh, I'll be here for a few days and I'll go to there for a few days and I'll go check out the coast for a bit and I might go to the mountains, but be flexible with your plan. I'd highly recommend being flexible with your plan, because you will definitely, things will happen. And if not, you just do your plan anyway, just go, but you don't need to book things in advance, as I said, unless it's a crazy holiday. So, okay. Ask around once you're there. Yes. So like talk to people, talk to people. You'll go and meet some amazing people. It restores your faith in humanity so much. Okay. How do I keep in touch with people I've met whilst traveling? Generally, Facebook's dying. I barely use Facebook for personal stuff anymore, but Facebook is probably the easiest way. It's like an international phone book, basically. So I generally use Facebook for keeping in touch with people. Weirdest experiences. I've had lots of weird experiences taking like ayahuasca in the jungle, but that was, yeah, I'd say, yeah, getting into some like, yeah, just lots of like going camping in some like farmers fields in Colombia. It was like pretty mind-blowing weekend, just like completely spur of the moment, borrowed a tent with some friends and went into the middle of nowhere. It was great. Any regrets? Generally taking too much gear with me I always think, why did it's like, this is too expensive to throw away, but like I don't want it with me and I don't want to post it home. Any regrets? No regrets really. Like not going places, not deciding not to travel is more of a regret than anything else. I don't know anything about Camp America, to be perfectly honest. But there's also other things like Camp America that would be pretty fun. Yeah, what was the scam that got me? I got scammed with one. It wasn't really a scam. They squirted. I was crossing the road. I was going to the equator. I was in Ecuador, and I got something squirted down my back, and I stopped, and there was a fountain. And I was like, went over to the fountain, but it actually had a fence around this fountain, so I couldn't get to the water, but I had some tissues and I was wiping down my bag, and like well-dressed, middle-aged guy, glasses, suit, jacket, came over and like, can I help you? I've got some tissues. It's like, no, I've got tissues. Thank you very much. It's like, I've heard of this. I'm certainly going to keep my eye open. He was like very persistently trying to help me. Seemed like, like I'm okay. Thank you. And he's like, then like wiping down my leg next to the pocket where my wallet is. And so I was like knocked his hand away. I was like, no, I'm good, thank you. And he I took my backpack off because it was all in my backpack as well, and put it down the ground. And I put my foot into the shoulder strap. So like my bag's on the ground like this, and I basically stood with my foot so that no one could take my bag off the floor. And so this guy is then talking to me. It's like 3 minutes, and eventually he grabs me by the shoulders, puts his arm around me, and basically forces me around to look at another fountain which doesn't have a fence around it, basically trying to tell me that I can go and use the water to clean the shit off my leg. And so I had to step out of my backpack loop, and I'm just like looking down. I'm not looking where he's looking. I look over my shoulder, and a guy comes out the crowd with a leather jacket, puts his leather jacket down on top of my backpack, and then lifts it up. So with my backpack inside his leather jacket, just like busy, like Trafalgar Square, the equivalent in Quito, Old Town. And I just like threw the guy off me and just said, hey. And he just carried head down, carrying walking. He's like 5 meters away, 10 meters away. And I start like running at him, and I just shouted, oi! I pointed like straight at him. And I imagine being in Trafalgar Square, screaming and pointing at someone, and everyone like looking at me, and I'm pointing at him, and he just froze. And I just walked up to him, put my hand out. I was never been so close to punching someone as at that time in my life. And he just like looked at me and just didn't even put it on the ground, handed it to me. And at that time I was being stared at by maybe 300 Ecuadorians in the middle of Ecuador. I was so close to sticking one on him, but I didn't. And then the other guy just basically disappeared into the crowd, and they just fucked off. But I got my backpack back. But yeah, so distraction tactics. If someone's doing something that you think is unusually, like they maybe, I've just found this ticket on the ground. Like, is this your ticket? Is this your ticket? Like like if they're basically, it's just a distraction tactic. That said, most people are lovely all of the time. I've only had my faith in humanity restored by traveling. Other scams. if it seems too good to be true, I actually know a guy who's in Brazil, ended up going home with these two girls and had a threesome with these two awesome Brazilian girls. And it turned out that they were actually prostitutes, and that their pimp then came knocking on the door, and he was expected to pay hundreds of dollars. And he was like, oh, he didn't have the cash. And he's like, I'm coming back. And then he basically just went with his wallet, grabbed his passport, said, I'm going to go get money, left all his bag full of clothes and everything there, and then just legged it, didn't go back. He was too scared. And just like he had his passport and some means of getting money, just went and bought new stuff, like not having any of that. So just, again, if it seems too good to be true, just take stock, be aware, and yeah, that would be just take a step back. And again, be responsible for your own actions at all times. Other things when it's saving money, do not use a service, get on a bus, get inside a taxi, get on a tuk-tuk. Do not step inside it. Do not use a single milliliter of their stuff until you've agreed a price. If you're in a country that barters, as soon as you're inside the taxi, you're toast. You must do the deal before you step inside, because they know getting out is super difficult. So what if you're in a country that haggles and barters, and that's part of the culture, agree every single deal before you've used any of their service, because otherwise they can say the price is the price, and then they'll charge you quadruple. Okay, so okay, questions. I think I've covered basically most of the stuff. What advice do I give someone who wants to go on a gap year? Go, 100% go. Change it will, like, if you're even on the fence about doing a gap year, I don't think there's anything that you could do that would be better. I do one before you go to university, go one after you have university. Like, you get very few opportunities where you have few enough commitments where you can just work for 6 months, travel for 6 months, like go and do it. I mean, maybe work for, you can just go away and give yourself enough time, go somewhere cheap so you can go for a long enough time. Because I think you need a minimum of 2 months away from home. It's like you cross a bit of a boundary. I work doing bar work. I work working in a school, doing in the summer holidays, like painting the school classrooms and corridors and stuff like that. What else have I done? I've done loads of jobs. I work hard when I can. I like basically blitz. My motivation for working hard was basically traveling. I would save my ISA allowance, which was like $5,000 a year when I was at university, and I'd work, save my ISA allowance, and any money I had left over after I'd saved that, I could spend on traveling. But it can be cheap. One time I flew for 2 months. In my summer holidays at university, I flew, including flights, including insurance, including scuba diving, including food and drink and everything. I flew less than 810 pounds, including to Vietnam for 2 months. Well, it was a bit of time in Thailand, a bit of time in Laos, a bit of time in Vietnam. Southeast Asia, really awesome. Loved it. South America, awesome. Africa, I've never been to, so I can't say. Australia and New Zealand, great, but going to cost you a lot more money. Your parents aren't keen for you to go. How can you convince them? Tell them to give me a call. I'll persuade them. Like, I don't mind having I know you, Shannon. I can vouch. Yeah, I mean, if I don't know, going with a friend would help them. I would not recommend going with a friend, but it might make them be persuadable. Any must-do things? Yeah, travel solo for a little bit of time. Must do. I mean, do the things you love, and if you don't know what you love, then even more reason to go, because you will find what you love. Is that camping? Is that hiking? Is it kayaking? Is it getting pissed on the beach? Is it, there's so many, whitewater rafting, there's so many options to do epic things for not that expensive. UK's expensive. Go somewhere cheap and you can go whitewater rafting for like $100, 60 quid for a couple of days. Like, it's awesome. South American and Southeast Asia is cheaper because the flights are cheaper. So, I mean, Bolivia, and again, depends where you go in South America. Chile, expensive. Argentina, expensive. Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, not so expensive. Bolivia, super cheap. Nicaragua, super cheap. Mexico, pretty cheap. Costa Rica, more expensive. So, again, I've only been lonely twice, basically, whilst traveling. And they were both times when, Like I stayed in I was staying in the wrong accommodation. I was basically staying like a hotel type thing, and there was like no one in hostels, in backpackers, in guest houses. It's just a circuit. It's a conveyor belt of travelers doing this web all over the world. There's 100,000 people just like you going and doing it, and you'll just go and find them. So I've only been lonely when I've been staying in like private rooms and shutting myself away from the world, or with some irony, when I travel with other friends from home and you're staying in like twin rooms and you like get a private room, you go for dinner and you're just the two of you, and you just get isolated. It's just the two of you against the rest of the world. If you go on your own, you just mingle and meet people. I would definitely, Ollie, go on your own. Do a whole year. Yeah, I mean, if you can do a year, do a year. It's good. Oh, it's just the best. I hope you can see how enthused I am. Like, it will make you more confident. It's just the footy has probably started. Damon and Joe on YouTube, one of the best low-key travel channels. I haven't checked it out, but I probably should. You have family in Colombia. Go and stay with them, because then your family are going to be more inclined to let you go and stay with your family, and then you can do little trips around and go to guest houses and stuff like that. It's going to be, basically you're responsible for your own selves. So someone said they got offered drugs in Colombia when they're 7. Yeah, it's a different culture. It's just different. Go and experience it. It's so awesome. How come I've never been to Africa? Time. It's a good question. My dad spent 3 years teaching in Zambia, and I will go back there to see him at some point, but like, it definitely would be high on my list. My ex-housemate, Aussie Bubbles Instagram channel, check him out if you like underwater stuff. I love scuba diving, and he was my dive buddy and housemate and best mate in the world. He's South African, and we were talking about buying a car and doing Cape Town to Cairo or vice versa in a 4x4. But there's a few bits were a bit sketchy, so do your research in advance. I mean, obviously some places safe, but Africa things are a bit tricky in places, but not in others. Ski season, I snowboard all the time. Let me show you. Where's my desktop of me? Where's my snow? Oh, it must be underneath this one, I would think. Let's just drag this one away. Nope. I've got more windows upon windows. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is skiing is sick. Ooh, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, so much fun. Go shred some pow. My desktop's horribly messy at the moment. You're from Zambia. It's great. The ex-Zambian under-19 squash champion was named after my dad. I would say going traveling is probably going to be the best thing for you, Ollie. I mean, maybe start somewhere where you've got easy access to get back home. You can be super flexible. You can go for a short time, go for a long time. I'd say that's give it a go, give it a shot, and just go somewhere where the flight isn't too expensive. Come back again, Eastern Europe, go do something around there, and you can. Africa probably is safer than basically everywhere is safer than most people think. Like, I haven't had issues. I traveled in South America for 2 years with a few, like, on and off with buddies that I'd met there. And we spent between us like 6 years in South America. Ant flew to London, had his camera nicked in the first week, and then his wallet nicked in the 4th week, had his camera and his wallet stolen in the space of a month in the UK, having had no issues in South America. Scotty was just the same. He went to, I think, Barcelona and had his passport nicked, or his wallet nicked, just like everyone else does in Barcelona. Turkey is amazing. There's loads of great things. Yeah, I sent my link out in one of the emails, and I think everyone who's joined using my link is just called Rich Thompson. Should I take a class? Yeah, I had a business idea once for taking like posh kids on gap years, like take them away for the first week and just like get them settled in, and for mummy and daddy, and to make sure that they were good, and then I'd come home again, like be their travel guide, show them how to have more fun, how to save more money. I would definitely travel before your degree. and after your degree. It's that awesome. Turkey. Okay, I think we're going to sign things off. The football has well and truly started. Yes, Mo, yours does say Rich Thompson. TT trip. Yeah. I'm going to be. Well, I don't. Serena, drugs? Question mark. I don't know. I didn't get your question. We talked about drugs earlier. Any other? Okay, now I'll just field random questions until they kind of die out. I'll do another 5 minutes and then we'll go and watch the football. Your younger siblings on the waiting list for the only traveling school in the world. I should have set up a traveling school. I'd love to see that. What's doing a chalet host? I know loads of people have done ski seasons and had epic times. Really, really, really good times. Look into the cost of going somewhere that isn't Europe, maybe, because I mean, I bet you'd have a great time. I don't know how the cost would compare. Obviously, you're closer to home if you're in France or Italy or in Switzerland or somewhere like that. Yeah, but it might be interesting to see whether you go to Japan and do a ski season in Japan or in Canada or somewhere like that. That would be. I just don't know how the cost would compare, but ski, yeah, you'll have a great time skiing. You will have a really fun social time skiing. Again, doing something like that, getting a qualification like scuba dive master or something like that, you're going to spend a bit of money doing the qualification, but you're going to automatically meet people through doing it. You're going to be, if you know that you like that thing, I wouldn't just go randomly book to do a dive master if you've never been diving before. But if you know you're a keen diver, then that's something you're really going to enjoy. Go to an awesome beach somewhere, sunny weather, go live in the Caribbean, do some diving. Like I did my dive master in Utila in Honduras, like living on an island in the Caribbean was kind of sweet. My first trip, when was my first trip after A-levels? I worked from now, basically where you're at. I worked until February, and then I went from February until almost, I delayed my coming back. I just delayed it. I came back just before university in September. I haven't seen the biology papers yet. I would love to see them. Ollie, give it a crack, give it a go. Yeah, I'd say to everyone, if you're sitting on the fence and grades don't go your way or whatever, just go away for a couple of months. And Asia's super cheap. Working during this season, yeah, I'd say definitely get a job. Like if you're doing a ski season, then getting a job, ski season is going to be expensive, right? Like even if you have all your own gear, then it's not ski towns are not cheap towns. I prefer, you can book, maybe book the first bit of the trip for sure. I would book my flights. I book maybe my first couple of nights accommodation, and have an idea of where I want to go. Maybe I'm going to be like in Mexico City for 4 or 5 nights, and I might want to go to the beach and just like relax on the beach because it's nice to, after you get away, just to like go detune. So like Airbnb is good, but like how you're not going to meet people in Airbnbs, right? You want to, like, if you're traveling solo, if there's 4 of you and you want a room, like Airbnb is awesome. I use Airbnb a lot for when I'm traveling around. But like if I'm traveling and I want to go backpacking for a backpacking experience, I would much rather be in a guest house, in a hostel. I prefer shared rooms because you just naturally you've got people to talk to, right? If you're in a private room, you're just like separating yourself off. If you need to do resits, you won't need to do resits. I'm confident in you. Or like just find the dates that work for you, plan it out. I would say, yeah, just look at your dates, see what your date commitments are, see when you've got that concentrated block of time. You might need to earn some money beforehand. So that might not be a case of I'm just going to go now because you might not have the money to go, but like just plan it out. Everyone's going to have different, different commitments in their diary. Best bank cards or payments. I have a nationwide flex. Mine's a premium account, which means I pay £10 a month, but it means I get international withdrawals everywhere for free. I travel a lot and I use my card a lot. It also gives you other perks where you get some of that money back again, but you probably don't want to pay for something like that. There's lots of cash cards that you can buy, preloaded cash cards. I would have at least 2 plastic sources of money. So maybe know what your bank is charging you, know what it's going to cost you to take your ATM, your card to the ATM and get money out. Know whether it's cheaper for you to get money out of the ATM or pay for things on card. Most people do cash and go to the ATM. So find out what's your cheapest way of withdrawing money. That's awesome. Working 3 jobs for 2 years, 7 days a week, plus full-time college, planning to spend every penny of it this year. Awesome. You're going to have a great time. Coming home stone broke is not fun. Done it a few times. Like, I leave a little bit of money in the account just so that you're not scrabbling around, because it's horrid coming home absolutely broke or in debt. Thank you for the essays. Yeah, don't exchange in the airport. Quite right. In fact, I don't even use the ATMs in the airport because I think they're often, unless it's a nationally recognized bank, it's often a crap rate. HSBC is not particularly good for international travel, despite being the world's local bank. They're bloody expensive. I had an HSBC account once, not anymore, mostly for that reason. Because I was going to HSBC cash machine in Honduras. Wonderful. How much is this going to cost me? Costs me more than my Nationwide card does to take money out. That makes sense. Definitely 4 topics is enough, as long as they're all relevant to the title. Ollie, you're quite right. Yeah, be careful scamming money on the black, like changing money on the black market, like illegally. You generally get a better rate, but you're more likely to get fake notes, or to have, some people have dodgy calculators. If you've got like 16,000 kip to the pound and you're like US dollar and you're like changing money, and so I've seen dodgy calculators that don't do calculations properly. And when you're dealing in tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of that currency, then you got to be a bit careful there. Okay. Yeah, WhatsApp and Viber for keeping in touch, really useful. An old Nokia phone or an old handset as opposed to your like brand new Pride and Joy. Check your insurance policies, what you've got. I think we're basically done. Scams done. Wallet and keep stuff. Yeah, your little, just watch the recording back. It'll be on YouTube. Don't take too much stuff. Buy stuff on the way. Definitely make some time to travel solo, or you can do it in this country. If you don't end up going away, go somewhere where there's going to be loads of people. Go camping. It doesn't have to be expensive. Go do it. Change your life. I generally book stuff online now. Yeah, Hostel World's pretty good for finding hostels. If you know Hostel World and Hostel Bookers, there's loads of websites for stuff like that. They get reviewed. You can have a good idea whether it's like a party hostel, whether it's like an adventure. You definitely get different themes. Whether it's lots of advice out there. Loads of websites for picking hostels. Is this the last time? I'm going to be doing some general interesting sciencey type stuff on YouTube for next year is the plan. Don't know how often. So if you find science interesting, you're going to do medicine, anything like that. It's going to be like my weekly and or monthly roundup of fun science biology news, which is not going to be for exams. But if you're interested, then you can check in there and say hello. Scared of hostels? Don't be scared of hostels. Go to one, just try a day, or go visit one. Go visit one, and some of them have bars. Go have a drink in the hostel bar and just hang out with some dudes, and then you can see, there's loads of awesome people here. There's loads of hot chicks and all the rest of it. It's like, and there's and then you made friends there, and you can be like, I may as well just move into the room here. So you should definitely go on a gap year. It changed my life for only the better. Confidence in terms of my ability to organize myself, and the ability of being self-aware in terms of like being responsible and being like responsible for my own actions. I've only seen, when I went to first year university, it was completely transparent who had spent a year, not necessarily traveling, but a year working and growing up and like looking after themselves a little bit, and who had just come straight from university and they were just children still, just immature. They couldn't do their own laundries. It's like, you just get to learn how to be an adult, and you just walk into the world, and you walk to university, you walk into your job as a more well-rounded, confident, better person. I can't put it any other way. Right. I've already overrun. Thank you so much for joining us. It will be on YouTube. I'll make it, you'll find it on the Tailored Tutors channel, of course. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be reminded about when I'm doing like YouTube stuff. If you want to follow me for that just general science roundup, and if you've got any other questions, you want to stay in touch, then do let me know. It's been a pleasure this year. And yeah, I wish you all the very best of luck. If you don't, and do let me know how you get on. I really want to know. I really want to know. I really want to. Yeah, it makes me so happy to see all all these people that have listened to me for hours and hours and hours teaching them biology, and just hearing however it goes. I want to know. Yeah. Shannon, I will. Oh, I think I did see. I think I saw it in the inbox, Shannon. I think I probably did. But I will check it. But not tonight, because I'm going to go watch the football, and my sister's here, and I see her like once a year at best. So I'm going to go have a glass of wine with my sister, and yeah, and I'll be on a plane to Colombia or somewhere in Central or South America in the next probably 5 to 6 days, because I need a holiday. Mexico, maybe. Yeah, if Mexico didn't win the World Cup, maybe I will go to Mexico. It'd be pretty exciting. See you all soon then. Oh, where's my end webinar? Thanks for joining. And yeah, any questions? If you've got any more questions, maybe stick them as comments on the YouTube video. I will try and have a little look and get back to you on some of that. And if you've got any if you've got any real concerns, feel free to get in touch. I'm happy to coach about traveling all day long. I'll show you some crazy photos of me doing some crazy shit. Hasta